Are live. Give us a chance to share the link here. I'm going to share it to you.
All right, going to share this to Patron. Okay.
Okay, guys, give us 1 second. We're just going to share it with you. No one's watching right now because we haven't shared the link with anyone, and it's an unlisted video. But we're going to get it shared on Patreon and on our private Facebook group, and you guys will be seeing us soon.
Doo, 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 doo. All right, let me go to our Facebook. Hi, how are you, Joe Schmo? You're good, guys?
We have someone watching.
Hi. All right, join us live on YouTube.
And will you post it as a comment in our last 2 Patreon posts as well?
Sorry, guys. So, hi, Gerardo.
Hey, Gerardo.
We had every intention of doing this on our laptop, which we figured out today, and then we got an internal server error from YouTube naturally. But we're making this happen. Okay.
So we had spent quite a while trying to figure it out, and then we finally got it working today. Good picture, good audio, and then we went to go live. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
We went to go live, and then YouTube's server error for live streaming. We're like, oh, good. Guess we're using our phone again. But at least this time we're on Wi-Fi at home, so hopefully it'll be better than last time and less buffering.
All right, posted in all the places. Okay.
Alrighty.
So yeah, as we are in this
Hey, Rick.
Hi, Rick. As we're in this live stream, feel free to comment any questions you have or anything. And this time, what's up, Silly Line? We'll be on more reliable Wi-Fi, hopefully. And we have some cool stuff to share with you guys. So we'll dive right in with some stuff from us until you guys have anything.
Yeah, please let us know if you have any questions. Post them up here, and we'll get to them.
So firstly, we just added end screen credits for people at the Total Tangerini level. We're still experimenting with this a little bit, but what do you guys think about that? We sort of had some like firework effects that I tried to add in there.
Is there a bus station in Chapala? There's lots of bus pickups in Chapala, and we went to a bus station in Ajijic, but we never actually went to a bus station in Chapala, so I don't know yet.
Well, and as far as like bus stations, if you're asking, what's up, Mark? If you're asking where you can be picked up from them or like where they are, pretty much anywhere it seems like. If you just stand on the side of the road and see one coming and like wave at them or do cartwheels or something, they'll stop for you. At least in our experience.
What were we just talking about? Oh yes, credits. Credits at the end
screen, yeah.
So it was on the end of our last video, we added credits for the first time. And if you didn't see your name up there, we're going to be updating it about once a week. So if you were new or if you said...
if we weren't sure if you wanted your name and then we had to clarify, we'll be adding that very soon. So, and then also if you want a different name, just let us know. Awesome. Glad to hear it, Gerardo. And then, okay, so the next thing is basically that of everyone that's subscribing to our channel, we are trying to do the most for you guys, not just from a financial standpoint, obviously.
You mean everyone who's on Patreon?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Not just from a financial standpoint, because of course that really helps us continue to make better videos and travel to extra places and things like that, but also you guys are cheerleaders, you're our biggest supporters, you're sticking up for us all the time and looking out for us, so...
Of anyone, you guys love our videos the most, so we're lately focusing a lot on Patreon, trying to get a little more personalized aspect there. Some of you may have experienced something that we're trying out that's more personalized.
A little surprise. So don't mention anything if you have gotten your surprise so far.
Hey, Missy.
Hi, Missy. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, don't say anything if you've gotten it yet, but we're getting the rest of those out pretty soon, and we hope you guys like that. So yeah, we're just trying to do a little bit extra for you guys, since we really appreciate it. I mean, you guys have probably seen some of the comments, so some days it's a little more difficult, and obviously continuing to do this too, so we really appreciate you guys being here and having our backs all the time, so we're trying to do a little bit more for you.
Hey, Jay Fisher.
What's up?
Oh, Gerardo says it was cool, but he's not telling you what it was.
Thanks.
Good.
Mum's the word.
What's up, John?
And then also in terms of doing a little extra for you guys, one of the things, for instance, is that we're going to make a little bit more time to meet up with you, or like to do a little bit more offline. For instance, we just met up with Rick here. What's up?
I'm just reading a comment.
So we just met up with Rick and his wife, Vicky, am I remembering that right?
Judy,
I'm so sorry. So we just met up with them in Ahihique for dinner, and that was really cool. We're happy to do that, and we love meeting you guys in person, so.
Okay, we're trying to...
Top chat.
We're trying to view the comments right now. Because...
Top chat.
No, you want live chat.
See?
Okay. Okay, Mark asks, are there any suggestions on quieter cities to stay in? Sorry, we get comments and then they disappear in like 2 or 3 seconds. This is why we wanted to do it on our computer, but for anyone who's joining us lately, we had like technical difficulties, and we had...
No, YouTube had technical difficulties with
Yes.
an internal server error. So quieter cities, what would you say?
Do you know any idea which part of Mexico you're coming down?
Or climate or something? We
How'd
haven't
you get the comments on here?
Also, hi Percy.
So quieter cities that we've stayed in. What have you liked for the quieter cities?
I think for the most part, any city that's not like a tourist destination that you would have heard of easily, like I would not consider Puerto Vallarta a quiet city.
Oh, I wouldn't consider a lot of the cities we've been to quiet cities. We keep mentioning it in videos lately, but we really love like the quiet and tranquility of San Blas. It's a small ocean port town a few hours north of Puerto Vallarta, but the bugs there are terrible. Like, we got to our Airbnb, and we walk in there, and then look up on the ceiling.
Well, first of all, I mean, Jordan went in the room first, and before I'd even gotten in the room, he comes running out like, oh my gosh, there's a giant spider, there's a huge spider, and I was expecting like, you know, giant spider, you know, size like that big. This was a giant motherfreaking spider, like, huge on the wall.
It was so big.
We hadn't even put our stuff in yet, and then so we go get Sandra, who's the bartender helping us out, and oh, sorry about that, Rick. Could be on our end too, hopefully not. We go get Sandra, and she comes with this like some type of thing on a stick and chases it up into a hole in the ceiling.
It crawls up into a hole in our ceiling, and then we're just like, okay, so there's this huge spider that's just going to be chilling up there the whole time we're here.
Oh, where's Alaska? Let me see if I can get her. Dig, wanna come? Come here. Come here. Nope, stay. Alaska. No.
Okay, Alaska,
You will love us.
We're doing a live video. They want you to
come
talk.
Here. Sit. Here we have Alaska.
Okay, so once again, we're on our phones and the comments keep disappearing.
The size of our face, yes.
Are we doing any dive, or have we done any diving? No, I've never done any diving in my whole life. Have you?
One time I went on a high dive. I wasn't young, but I
No,
was.
not like a diving board off a diving board, diving in the ocean with scuba gear.
That's where I was going with
Oh,
this.
really?
Well, definitely no professional diving, but I went up on the high dive and I got up there, and I'm not even afraid of heights, but this seemed like I would die if I jumped off of this. And they had to clear the entire pool. The lifeguard blew the whistle, and it was so embarrassing. So, would I do diving? Maybe.
But can you even compare diving off like a diving board or a high dive with diving under the water with scuba gear?
Oh, that type of. I thought like cliff diving. Oops.
Well, maybe. Is Laska a hybrid? As far as we know, she's full Siberian Husky, but we're not totally sure. Okay, he clarified scuba diving.
Yeah, my bad. Forget I said anything.
Have we visited any volcanoes nearby? Yeah, at what was the place called near Guadalajara?
Guajimontones?
No, Primavera.
Oh, Bosque La Primavera?
Yeah, so there's a volcano there by Guadalajara. You would never know that it's a volcano unless someone told you or it exploded on you. What other questions did we miss here? So Michelle was asking about a safe choice to stay in Mexico City, and we don't know a whole lot about Mexico City, so.
Yeah, we haven't been there yet, so can't give much advice on that.
And I think that's caught up on all the questions that we have so far.
So another thing from us, we asked you guys on Facebook.
Oh, what has been your favorite experience in Mexico? Mark asked that.
And then we'll get to the AC question after that.
The Herradura Express. It was amazing. Left from Guadalajara, really cool experience. They treat you very well the entire trip.
Like every detail is planned out perfectly. So from the time that you're picked up, they're serving you like yogurt drinks to prepare your stomach. They're giving you coffee and water bottles. Anytime you think you need something, before you thought you needed it, they're already giving it to you.
And yogurt drink, that sounds kind of gross.
It seemed like a gross thing, but I would make it again.
It was delicious.
And then do you need AC by Lake Chapala? I don't think so. There's only about one time of day that it can sometimes get like humid and hot, but I don't really think it's AC necessary. It's sort of like turn on a fan and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have AC in Guadalajara, and most people don't there. And it does get pretty hot, but with a fan, we were okay. We were able to get by. I mean, it wasn't the most comfortable on the
Some
hottest of days,
yeah.
but yeah, here on the north shore of Lake Chapala, it's pretty comfortable.
And then, so I was just about to say on Facebook, we asked you guys what video we should make next, and the winner was taking a boat ride to Isla de Mezcala. So we're going to be looking into doing that pretty soon. Not sure exactly. We might talk to Guillermo again because he does a boat tour. That was the
Guy who we did hiking with
our
here.
tour guide for the hike at Ajijic.
Okay, have you done any research on the lake, and are there any swamp coolers? We asked in a recent video if anyone knew anything like any official scientific studies on the lake. And some people responded with this thing, what was it called? The State of the Lake 2018?
The Lake Chapala State of the Lake 2018.
Although that was supposed to be an official study or like a scientific study, to us it seemed like it was filled with a bunch of fluff.
So yeah, I decided to do a little bit more digging because Mark, you had sent us a few articles, especially regarding the mercury level in the lake, and so that obviously has a huge impact on me because I'm dealing with mercury toxicity. So if there is something like that, even the smallest amount could really have a strong negative effect on me. So I was looking at this State of the Lake document, and it was giving like the first couple pages were like, Mexico is ranked this and this, and the crime here is this percentage of that. And so it was giving like fun facts on Mexico. And then it seemed like the big argument that they had for whether the lake was clean or not was, according to this one scientist that they referenced, who they said maybe one or two sentences on, the parts per million of the lake are the same, or
For mercury?
for mercury, are related the same in terms of safety as canned tuna in the US, which really doesn't say a whole lot. And then I started looking into it was like 0.4 parts per million, which relating that to the amount of mercury that I have in my system was like, you really wouldn't have to have too much of that in your system before that started to accumulate. But what I thought was a little bit more interesting was the fact that this report was done by the tour company. What is it called again?
I don't know if it was done by them, but their logo was on the front of it.
What the logo?
Focus on Mexico?
The logo that it had on there was Focus on Mexico. So we're not trying to trash them. We have no idea, but the conclusion that I drew was that it was not cited. None of the science in this was cited at all. The scientist did not have any credibility listed in terms of like he went to this school or any of the research that he had done. None of that was like listed in there. It was just talked about. And then the tour here, or the company that was doing this, it seems like they kind of would have motivation to have people think that it was or wasn't safe because they're trying to have people take tours. And all this is to say that we don't know exactly the science, we don't know the toxicity levels or the heavy metals or anything.
And it seems like there's a lot of disagreement on the subject. So
we don't know.
We've looked into it a little bit, but we don't really know.
And then to follow up all these statements, I'm not feeling any worse by being here. So
in fact, you said you're feeling better.
Yeah, on the contrary, I feel better here than I did in Guadalajara. For whatever reason that might be, I don't know.
And we were asked, how's the electricity here in Mexico? Is it constant? Are there regular power outages? It's pretty darn good. There's rarely power outages. We had an occasional one in Guadalajara, but they get very significant storms there. So those were knocking out the power lines on occasion, and they would usually be fixed the next day.
Yeah, so I don't think nothing crazy, nothing that's been a huge inconvenience or anything.
Yeah, we have some friends in Nigeria, and they say that there the power goes out every single day, and it might be out for several days. So I mean, compared to that, like, we have it really good.
Missy, how long are we staying in Ajijic? We really have no idea. We're it's a little bit hinging on the owners of this house. They're currently trying to sell their house in Cyprus. So whenever that sells, it's maybe like 1 or 2 weeks notice that we would have, and then we would have to find a new place in Ajijic if we wanted to stay here more, or we would continue our travels. So it's a little bit up in the air.
So we keep having to touch our phone to see the comments because they disappear. But Mark says, I sent that because you're concerned about our health and regarding the lake. Mark had sent us some studies or some research. It was from a while back, but we do really appreciate that. And in terms of how you're feeling, like, how have you noticed how you feel since coming here?
So yeah, I feel a lot less stressed since being here. It's could be due to like the slower pace of life and it just being more relaxed, but
you always talk about the energy you feel. Is that something here?
Yeah, in Ajijic it has just like a really good feeling. So the people are pleasant, but yeah, generally the energy is like nice. It feels easy to be here and like easy to exist, if that makes sense.
All right, what else do we have for?
Oh.
Por favor. Okay, if you guys can see us and hear us just fine, let us know. It said we lost you. Okay, Missy said you're frozen. And there is a little bit of a delay between the time you send your message and the time we get it.
Hopefully you can still see us.
Okay, it seems like we're getting some more messages. Have you become soccer fans yet? I had never watched a full soccer game before coming to Mexico. So I'm definitely more of a soccer fan now than I was, and it's got to be Mexico. Okay, looks like everyone can see us again.
Sorry about that.
Okay, what else do we have here? How do your families feel about you still being in Mexico now?
Well, there might be some of our family here. We did give them the link in case they wanted to.
Yeah, so we invited all our patrons and our family. But how do they feel in general? A heck of a lot better than they did when we were coming here.
My mom says she still worries about us, but I mean, I don't think it's quite as much as when we left and when they had no idea what Mexico is actually like. So that might just be like, mom worries because, you know, looking out for their kids.
Yeah, after a few months here, I was talking to my dad on the phone, and he was like, you know, it's pretty much paradise there, isn't it? Like in terms of the life someone coming from the U.S. could live, and yeah. So his opinion has totally shifted over the months we've been here. Okay, back to tapping the screen to see what else, see what other questions we have. Silly Lion says, GDL is very polluted, probably the reason you feel better in Ajijic. Yeah, that could be. Thankfully, in our neighborhood that we were living in, we didn't really notice the pollution. But yeah, you get to certain parts of the city and you can really start to see the pollution. Mm-hmm. Were there any other questions?
It also is pretty nice in this house in particular. They have like a full water filtration system. So in case there was anything pollutants in the water in Guadalajara, all of that is filtered out now. And also something that I used to do before coming to Mexico was take Epsom salt baths all the time because it really helps my body when it's achy from the detoxing process. So I've gotten to do that again, which is really cool. I haven't had a bath since like now,
yeah,
since being back here again. So
since we came to Mexico.
That also is like really huge help for my health.
Percy asks, is the weather different here at Lake Chapala or Ajijic than in Guadalajara? Mm-hmm. And yes, it is. It's pretty significantly cooler. What do you think? 15, 20 degrees cooler?
Yeah. And then it still gets cool at night as well. Like in Guadalajara, it gets very cool at night, which is nice. It cools down the house. You can leave the windows open and stuff. It also does rain here at night as well, although since we've been here, it doesn't rain as much or as hard as it does in Guadalajara.
Yeah, something about the weather in Guadalajara. It seems like almost every evening in the summer, around, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m., it starts to rain really hard.
Which I really liked. I've never had that. I mean, I've lived in Arizona forever, so.
What's the most tangerine thing in your possession other than Lizzie?
Hi, sis. That's my sister. Well, I think the thing that you were here for, Heather, you or Megan, people know you as Megan, her
You gave her away.
I gave away your position. We bought Laska a leash that was tangerine colored.
We also bought tangerine colored garbage.
Oh yeah,
the other day.
we got trash cans here, little waste baskets for the bathrooms.
And inside this house, we have various tangerine accents. Mm-hmm. I think those are my favorite.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay.
But we had someone recently request that we do shirts that had, one person said they need to have Laska's face on them, which I feel like they might be part of the FBI or something because I've worked up something like that in Photoshop. But I haven't said anything to anyone about it yet, except for, well, now you guys, but...
Should we tell them about it?
What?
About the shirt design you had.
Yeah, well, there was, Alaska was wearing sunglasses one time, so I took like a colorful silhouette with her sunglasses on, and she's got her mouth open like... and we were going to make that into a shirt that said, like, Tangerine Travels.
And was it on a tangerine colored shirt?
And it was on a tangerine colored shirt, of course. Someone also recently suggested that we do one that said "Gong that bell." They were like, whenever you make one that says "Gong that bell," I'll buy it. And I thought, why did we never think about that? Gong that bell.
I think it'd be fun to have some t-shirts, like various t-shirts.
And you'll get notified the next time we put out a new t-shirt, and you can buy it there.
I would rock those t-shirts every day. Percy asks, Maddie, I see you eat a lot of veggies. Are you or were you a vegetarian?
I was a vegan for, I don't know, 4 years or so because of food allergies that were building up. So slowly but surely, more and more foods started to give me issues. So I was down to like 6 vegetables or so. And then, so basically it was just completely veggies for a long time. I still eat like that. I mean, now I'm eating a little bit of meat here and there. Try to keep it to chicken because I've really in my life only liked chicken as far as meats go. But I feel a lot better eating just vegetables or primarily vegetables.
So that was pretty much right before we came to Mexico, and I saw her go from being able to eat most foods over the course of a couple years when we were together to not being able to eat anything. I mean, it was really, really hard to see. Like, imagine everything you put in your mouth, your body just rejects it. And then you get rid of all your spices. You get rid of anything that makes the food taste good, and you're down to broccoli and cauliflower, eating it plain. And even still, you're still getting a reaction. It was really hard. And
I just have Jordan to thank because when, like, I was having reactions on my hands, my face, my chest, everything, and, like, anything that I put in my stomach, I was getting a stomach ache from it, and thankfully, Jordan was always here encouraging me and supporting me, so whenever I was, like, really, really down and out and feeling like I couldn't really get past it, he was there. And thankfully, we're here now, and Mexico's food is much better than in the U.S., so I'm not dealing with that as much anymore, just minor symptoms.
Percy says, could you drink the water? Friend just asks. I assume you're talking about, oh, and we have another question from Mark. We'll get to that. So drinking the water, I assume you're talking about in Mexico, or maybe you're talking about Ajijic specifically. We can drink the water in our house here because we have a water filtration system. But as for drinking water in Mexico, before coming here, we got a Berkey water filter, so we can pretty much filter any questions. We can filter any water and put it through the Berkey. Questions are popping up, and I'm like, filter water, no, filter questions. We can pretty much filter any water, whether it's from the toilet, a pond, or whatever, and drink it straight from the Berkey. Most people here get what they call these garrafones of water, and they're like 30 liters, I think, or 5 gallons, something like that. And they're pretty affordable and an easy way to get clean water.
And then going back a little bit, what places are we thinking about visiting in the future? We definitely want to go back to Mazamitla again.
Yeah, we're trying to plan that right now.
With potentially another YouTuber, so I'm going to be looking forward to that.
And the list is so long.
Of YouTubers that we want to collab with. I'm just kidding. Of places we want to visit, but Pueblo Mágicos, there's like at least a dozen or maybe even more within
a few hours driving distance.
1 to 2 hours. So
I think further than that, but yeah.
Like this seems to be a really central spot where there's a lot to visit and a lot to see around here. But as far as like solidified plans, we don't have that many. My dad wants to know if I get my fabulous sense of humor from him. Yes, definitely. Let's see, water. Anonymous post, is your sister really that beautiful in real life? Asked by my sister.
Percy, really thinking about moving there? Sorry for all the questions. No, please keep asking them.
Yeah, we're happy to answer, especially like verbally. It's easier. If we go to Mazamitla again, will we be taking Lass with you? She would really love playing in the woods. She would also really love eating all the squirrels. So if there's like a problem with an influx of squirrel population, we could just take her and she would just take care of it right there.
Ask her whether or not we'll take her. Not sure. Depends on if our place where we're staying is dog friendly.
or how endangered the squirrels are.
Okay, where did we leave off here?
Toilet water,
yum. And our patron that we just met up with here in Ahihic, he gave us these life straw or water filtration systems, like these very portable ones. And he's like, you could literally use this, drink it out of a toilet. So we were kind of joking with him when we said that we might have to do that in an upcoming video.
We'll have to see.
Okay, what do we have here? There's our most recent question.
Someone drank from the faucet in Monterrey and didn't get sick. If he did that, I would be, or well, I mean he did, you just said he did, but if he didn't get sick from that, that's cool. When we drove through Monterrey, it was like probably one of the most polluted cities I've ever seen. Just driving on the outskirts, you couldn't even see from the road to the mountains, which we had driven by, like going around the city, and the mountains would be over here. So that was kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. So it would make sense if they had like special filtration systems or something. I wouldn't drink out of the tap water if I didn't know, but we get a lot of questions about like, can you drink tap water in restaurants and stuff? And I think in most cities, it's pretty obvious when it's filtered, and then if you don't know, you can always specifically ask for agua garrafón, and then that's like out of the big filter.
And then people have asked if we can have ice in restaurants, and that's generally filtered too. But it would vary, my personal opinion, whether I was coming here on vacation or coming here to move here. Alaska's howling right over here. But regarding
Monterrey is the most polluted city in Mexico, but you can drink tap water there. How interesting.
Huh. That is interesting.
Come here.
Around what is the monthly budget, if you don't mind me asking? Our monthly budget, like what we're spending right now, I don't think in any one month
I got a dog.
I don't think in any one month we spend over $1,200 US, including everything. But that's us living pretty frugally, trying to eat cheaper entrees at restaurants, generally trying to eat at cheaper restaurants. Alaska, your ears are in the picture. She's going to knock this over, and the live stream is going to be ruined.
All right, let's see.
For any of you who've joined us recently, or anytime not within the first 5 minutes, we were doing a bunch of testing, trying to figure out the best live stream software, and we got it working great earlier today. But then we went to actually do it when we told you when we were going to at 8. And then YouTube was like, oh, internal server error, you can't use live stream. So we're live streaming on the YouTube app, which is very simple and you don't need back-end software for, but we were using the YouTube app for the last live stream, and it was kind of a disaster in terms of buffering. So we were hoping not to have to do that. Okay, what other questions do we have?
Thanks for a kiss. Thanks for a kiss. Thanks for a kiss.
What city would you recommend senior dental work? So the dental work is a tough question for us because we don't have a lot of experience with it. But if I were living in Arizona, I've done this before, I would go to Los Algodones. It's right on the other side of the border by Yuma. But, I mean, there's a lot cheaper places to do it than that, but that's just for the convenience. Like, for example, whatever I was quoted in Phoenix, it was a quarter of the price, 2.5 hours away or whatever it was in Los Algodones. Mm-hmm. But if you go to somewhere like Saltillo, where we were just at recently, it seemed like that was a pretty big dentistry tourism place. And there were a lot of dentists with prices on the outside of their windows. And there, a crown was 800 pesos, so a little over $40 compared to my dentist in Phoenix was going to charge me over $1,000. Okay, what else do we have?
Percy wanting to know if I am getting any more tattoos soon. I think that's the question. Do I have any more tats, or am I getting any more? I don't. Oh gosh.
Alaska.
Okay. Sorry. Well, as far as getting any more, I don't have any plans to get any more. Well, I don't think I want anything anytime soon. That doesn't mean I'm done forever, but at least for now, I like to think about a tattoo for at least a year before I get one. So I don't have any in mind. Oh, Alaska. Okay, bye.
So did you answer? Ah, no.
Alaska.
Alaska, you got to get off the bed.
Sorry.
Okay, did you answer the Enterprise 22 question above? I think
Enterprise
so.
22.
About dental work? You just passed the dental work one.
Are you two going to get engaged anytime soon, or are we already engaged? Jordan sounds like a keeper.
Oh, we didn't see this question, and no, we did not answer that question. I can't tell you guys when she's right here.
I mean, we're not opposed to marriage or anything.
And we're not engaged at the moment.
Yeah, not engaged.
Okay.
That was an awkwardly long pause, babe.
Elmer asks, so will you be showing us a younger part of town in Ajijic or Chapala? Younger means 30 to something?
So we were actually invited to this like young Lake Chapala meetup, and so we thought like, oh my gosh, how cool, we're gonna meet people our age, and we were like the youngest there by probably like 10 or 15 years, so... But
yes, we're going to meet other younger people. I'm going to put this up a little bit.
Or at least we're gonna do our best to...
Someone else reached out to us. It's a family who's living here, husband, wife. They have 4 kids, no older than 8 for the oldest one, I think. And they're like 31 years old. So there are some younger people here. Okay, what else do we have?
Or at least 2 other people besides us.
Okay. I think they're avoiding that question. No, we honestly just missed that question.
I saw that question.
You
but
did?
how am I supposed to answer that?
Okay.
Chemtrails in the skies.
Do you think the same? So I asked, one of my friends is a pilot, and we were talking with him about chemtrails one day. And he was telling us that there's certain atmospheric conditions that will allow condensation trails to remain. And he was saying that he thinks it's condensation trails, and it's just certain atmospheric conditions that make you see a lot more some days than others.
I think that's a load of shit.
And he was telling us about all the maintenance workers on the airplanes are highly trained to know exactly what goes into all the specific parts, and you would have to like fool all of the maintenance workers into like believing that a part is supposed to be there if these chemtrails were real. So I don't really know what to think of it. And as for those chemtrails or condensation trails or whatever they are, I tend to see them more in places where there's more air traffic. So here, you hardly ever see airplanes flying over.
But whenever we have seen airplanes flying over, there have not been anything behind them. Same in Guadalajara, I don't remember ever seeing chemtrails or condensation trails or whatever you might want to call them. But I remembered seeing them all the time in Phoenix. There was one day that there were just dozens of them lining the sky everywhere, and I should have taken a picture because it seems so surreal, but I didn't.
Paulette's asking if you have checked that vegan site yet. There's a vegan group here. So I may have responded to that message or email and then forgot to tell you.
I was gonna say, that doesn't sound familiar to me. Sorry.
So, no, we need to go back and look at that. There's a Facebook group called Millennials and Gen X's in Lake Chapala. Okay, we'll have to check back. We got some new comments. Our screen is still dark here. No, don't go away, comments.
Are we back?
Okay, it looks like we're back.
I'm sorry.
It seems like our internet went out briefly. That sometimes happens here.
Frozen Jordan touched it. Good one. I'm just kidding. The internet he kind of goes in and out. Sometimes we're on AT&T. Like we have 2 internets to make that work.
And it's weird because usually when it goes out, it lasts no longer than a few minutes. Unlike
Well,
other
that was
places.
a few seconds. But anyway.
Yeah, I know, but no longer than a few minutes. And other places I've lived, internet can go out and it can be out for hours.
So Monsanto is a bigger problem poisoning the food supply? Abso-fucking-lutely. That is like the devil of the earth right now, and they have their fingers in so many things all across the world. We heard that they were trying to do the same with Mexico food supply, and Mexico said, no way, Jose, which is not a phrase in Mexico.
I don't know any details about that. So I'm going to just let you...
As far as fajitas, where's our favorite?
I just got my new favorite fajitas, and they're right down the street in San Juan Cosala. This place appeared in our last video, and it was like these shrimp fajitas with this cream sauce. So good. Where else have we had really, really good fajitas?
My favorite fajitas here, or maybe ever, maybe in all of Mexico, are at Chile Verde, which is right in the plaza, the Centro of Ajijic. They had so many flavors and spices on them, so good. And then maybe beyond that, Mazatlan at Pancho's.
Oh, those were so good.
Nothing will ever beat Pancho's, you guys. We went there so many times.
Missy, here you two cracked me up, your reaction to my engagement question. I honestly did not see that question at first.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Have you tried chelation, or did the vitamins have the same effect? Michelle, so I'm on chelating agents in the vitamins and supplements, and then also I do my best to eat things like mushrooms and eggs and things like that, which are high in selenium, and that helps block the absorption, as well as cilantro.
Cilantro is a chelating
agent as well. So, and I can tell when I eat a lot of cilantro, like if I were to make it into a pesto, which I really like doing, my body feels so achy, like my joints hurt more, and just sort of feels like I have the flu, sort of, where your body feels heavier and it feels like it takes more energy to do things. So that's a type of chelation therapy that I'm doing, but I know there's also some types that you can do clinically, and I'm not doing anything like that.
So Silly Line asks, what's your internet connection speed over there? Well, we have 2 internet providers in this house. One has about 5 megabytes per second upload and very slow download, and then the other is pretty much exactly the opposite, of about 5 download and very little upload. So it's good enough to stream Netflix most of the time, and the one internet we use to upload our videos uploads it pretty fast.
Do we recycle where we've been? This is something that bothers me a lot. No, I don't think many places that we've been do recycling except for maybe glass. And you'll like see people sometimes going through people's trash to get glass out because you can get money from it that way. But as far as I know, everything goes to landfills. There may be a few private companies that you can take your recycling to those locations, but it's not like people don't have dumpsters where one is blue and one is green for trash versus recycling.
I think better than recycling here, though, there's a lot of reusing. People reuse everything. Like in the US, if someone's fan broke or something, they're just throwing it out. If someone's fan breaks here, they're taking every spare part from it that they can to do something from it.
I think you can also, by the way, do that.
Oh, cool.
Am I eating meat again? Yes. I pretty much try to stick with just chicken, though. I don't eat any fish or shrimp or anything that could potentially have even the smallest traces of mercury in it. Like tonight, though, is a special occasion. They have ribs over at this place down the street, and they're super good.
Once a week special occasion.
Yeah. But other than that, chicken.
There's
Tamal
Tamal guy. We just heard someone yell, tamales!
No, he goes, Tamal! Anyway. But yeah, also beyond that, I'm like, I eat eggs a lot now, which is the only other thing, but for the most part, I pretty much try to be plant-based still as much as possible.
So Percy says Nepalese are sold in the U.S. as superfood now. That's interesting. They're sold everywhere here as regular food.
And tortillas and stir-fry
What do you
stuff.
think of that? I think it's interesting. I wonder if it has if that's legit, if it has nutrients or what. And what kind of droid do we have? We have Apple if you're talking about Android, or if you're talking about drones, we have DJI Mavic Pro.
Oh, Laura, oh my gosh, that was in Guanajuato City. Those 5 pesos los tamales. I want those so much. They're so good. This guy sells his, what are they, 10 pesos? 15, 20 pesos? 10 pesos? I think they're 10 pesos, but they all have
Something like
onion in it, which is sad.
What about those small crab hands? Tiny crab
Tiny
hands.
crab.
But that was in Guaymas. That was at the very beginning of our travels. Maddie was still eating a little bit of fish at that time.
Yeah. But that was at the time where I wasn't eating any meat or eggs or like most vegetables still, because I was still dealing with basically anything that I put in my mouth was giving me some type of reaction. But I haven't been eating fish since then. Basically maybe a month into our travels, as soon as I was able to incorporate eggs and other vegetables, I stopped eating fish completely.
Did I miss your info on chilaquiles? I'm not sure exactly what that's referring to.
As
Do you
far
know?
as the chili that we like them, I eat them all the time.
We love them a little too much that we're like, we should probably lay off our chilaquiles.
I never eaten them until Mexico, until San Blas actually. So that was like a month and a half, 2 months into being in Mexico.
We're having comments pop up on our live feed, and we have comments on our YouTube channel pop up too at the top of my screen here, and someone's like, "You're lucky you haven't been kidnapped yet." We get lots of these weird comments like that, just people believing the media, and
Saying that we're going to get robbed or something, carrying around our camera, which my hands are relatively tiny compared to your hands. But they can hold, when I'm holding the camera like this, you wouldn't be able to see it when I'm holding it up that way. So it's I think people probably think we're just weirdos talking to my hand than anything. They probably don't know what's going on.
what question are you replying to right now?
You brought up being kidnapped or something
Oh,
from the comments.
what does that have to do with our camera?
Being robbed, kidnapped, robbed,
gotcha.
people saying crazy things.
Those tamales look tiny. Yeah, those 5 peso tamales in Guanajuato were pretty small, but
But probably half the size of a regular one. So regular ones go for about 10. So I don't know. They're really good.
Do you guys ever juice? I've never been on a straight juice diet.
I've never done a juice cleanse or anything. I used to have a juicer. When my allergies were getting bad, it was making stuff worse, and again, everything I put in my mouth was making it worse. Here, though, I don't think we would have a need for a juicer because you can go down the street pretty much in any direction and find someone squeezing fresh juice for 10 pesos for a little bolsita.
How about, can you take that boat cruise thing on Lake Chapala?
We would love to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out something to go to Isla de Mezcala.
But then after that, I would like to do that boat tour. We've seen it depart a couple times, but we don't really know where it starts at. So we have to figure that out.
We took the bus. Is the car all right? Yes, we try not to drive as much as possible just because here the roads are a lot bumpier and rockier, and I bottomed out my car really bad when we came in, and that was upsetting. But it's super walkable here, so there's not a whole lot of need to take the car around.
And the bus system is so easy.
And so inexpensive.
There's just
7 or 8, 9 pesos.
Yeah, there's one road the bus goes down, so you just put your arm out to wave it down and then stop pretty much wherever. And it's all on the same road. What else do we have? What are chilaquiles? I'm sorry I asked too many questions, but I'm really looking to move to Mexico, and you guys are selling it. Okay, chilaquiles are amazing. That's all you need to know.
No, they're chips basically, or well, they can be made a little bit different in every city, but chips.
Or even every restaurant within the city.
Yeah, true. They can sometimes be super crunchy chips. Sometimes they'll be like more slappy chips, and they put sauce all over them, a red or a green sauce. Usually like a creamy type of cheese, and then a sprinkly type of cheese. Sometimes they'll put onions on it. All the time, it's delicious.
Except the very first time I had chilaquiles ever, that was here in Mexico.
Oh, in Puerto Vallarta.
It was in Puerto Vallarta, and I had chilaquiles that just weren't good. I didn't eat very many of them because they were kind of gross, but I kept trying them, and some are better than others. Those are still, the very first time I ever had it, those were by far the worst ones I've ever had. And sometimes they're amazing, and other times they're just like good.
Cheese nachos, to Missy, they're not exactly like nachos because nachos are more, well, in my experience, nachos have more like a lot of cheese on them, and then maybe you put salsa on top of the cheese.
And the chilaquiles are a lot of sauce, and
it's
usually
more sauce,
some cheese, but not a lot of cheese.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll put eggs on them too. That's good. Then you got the rennet yolk on there.
Okay, we have Laura. Saw you guys on the bus? Oh, in a video probably.
Well, so there's different types of buses, at least in Guadalajara. There's one that I think is run by the government or something, or at least permitted by the government, and one that doesn't, and it doesn't follow any rules.
You're talking about Guadalajara or here?
Guadalajara.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in other cities there's like different types like there. Here it seems like they're the same type of bus, but maybe not.
In Ajijic, Chapala, are the chilaquiles better? Well, there's one restaurant we've gone to a few times, and the only place I've had chilaquiles here, I think, is at that restaurant. It's called like Fonda Doña Lola.
Fonda Doña Lola. Mm-hmm.
And they're really, really good there. But I can't really attest to the city as a whole, just for that restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
We can't decide to bring or not to bring our small cars since you have yours. What's your thoughts? We were there in Mexico in May. The bus system, local, and bus terminals worked well too. Our car is one of our biggest expenses. From what we've heard, we have to keep our insurance in the U.S., so we have to pay for U.S. insurance, we have to pay for U.S. registration, and then we also have to pay for Mexican insurance, and then we have to pay for all the tolls. And
the temporary import permit.
And gas is $5 a gallon here. So, I mean,
if you can avoid having a car, it'd be good. We kind of have to because of Alaska.
At least if we're going from city to city, there's not many good ways to get a dog from city to city.
Doug.
Without having a car.
Doug.
Speaking of dogs, she's fetching.
Sit down. Sit. Sit. No, don't leave.
Sit.
Sit. Yes, good girl.
Yeah, it is $5 a gallon, at least here in Guadalajara and in Ajijic. When we went to the border at Laredo, it was a lot cheaper in Nuevo Laredo in Mexico, right across the border. A lot cheaper than most other Mexican cities, but it was still 14 pesos per liter instead of 19 or 19.50.
Make a food. No, you will stay here and love us. Ow! Make a video of us cooking. Ouch.
This video is going to be so shaky if we don't just let her go.
Off the bed.
So make a video cooking food.
What recipe should we cook?
Right now?
I don't know about you guys, but my favorite part of the one cooking recently was when I was chopping up all the potatoes in fast motion. That was like the most weirdly soothing thing. It's like,
Okay, Laura says, no, I just mean in the Ajijic area between the villages. Okay, what question was that referring to? Oh,
cheaper bus.
okay. There's a cheaper bus that will stop anywhere, and then there's a more expensive bus that will just stop at bus stops. We don't know enough about it yet to know that. It sounds like you know your stuff though. So I wonder if that's like the Chapala Plus buses that seem to be slightly more expensive. Maybe those are the ones
Slightly by
that,
like 1 peso, we mean.
yeah, maybe those are the ones that make fewer stops. Okay, what else do we have?
Our chilaquile spicy, and Silly Line also answered not spicy at all. And yeah, well, some can be, but most often they're not.
Well, Silly Line's Mexican,
That's
so
true.
you can't trust a Mexican, especially if they're wearing a sombrero, to tell you if something's spicy or not.
Oh gosh, I've been so screwed that way before. Elmer wants to know: are there waterfalls in Lake Chapala and Hot Springs?
Oh.
Hot Springs, yes, in San Juan Cosala.
We saw a couple waterfalls hiking, but they were pretty. They weren't super impressive. We hear there are.
Are we back?
Yeah. Oh, once it stops spinning.
No. Just tell me when I need to stop spinning.
Well, we're getting questions, so apparently it's not totally gone.
We're back?
We're back.
Are we back? It says loading for us. I'm sorry, you guys. We really tried fixing the internet here.
Okay, what other questions do we have? Where do we leave off?
Have we been to the west end of Lake Chapala, Jocotepec? No. Well, once we went to Tacotepec, which was really fun. We need to go back there, though.
Who would you be without the Tangerini car?
We'll dye Alaska tangerine.
Or maybe we can
Just
get a
kidding.
tangerine-colored scooter or something.
Tangerine backpack. I hope you guys can hear us. It still has a loading bar for us, so... thanks, Missy, that we did a good job on the cooking.
Love that you put tahini on the potatoes.
That was such like a huge thing. We had so many people. How dare I put tahini on my eggs? I'm like, are you kidding me? You put tahini on everything. I'm the first person to put it on eggs, apparently. It tasted really good. I hope we're good. Okay, it's just gonna be a circle for us. Sorry.
I'd like to see you check out the other side of the lake. Very few expats, I understand, but cheaper because Ajijic is getting more expensive.
We do see that it's probably getting a little bit more expensive.
Especially with property.
Yeah.
Property's going crazy, and
From
people
what we hear.
people are having a hard time finding a place to rent.
My theory, though, is that if you go to places where you need to speak Spanish, you're going to pay less. So here, the restaurants that speak only English for people who only speak English, you're going to be paying more. So essentially, you're kind of paying for English. And like when we were in San Juan Cosala, I didn't notice the prices being particularly high. We'll have to explore Jocotepec and see kind of what it is like, what it's like there.
What else do we have here? But yeah, we'll definitely have to go around to the other side of the lake. I'm not sure what there is to see there, so we'll have to do some research on that first. Or maybe just go and find out. Have you ever gone a long ride, Uber, like over 60 miles? We have never taken a really long Uber ride like that. The longest Uber ride is, what, across Guadalajara, maybe a half hour?
Yeah, maybe. And that was like from our
Place
apartment to the zoo. Yeah, so not that long. We have heard really great things about the bus system. Honestly, the only reason we've never taken it is because of Alaska. We don't want her to be put down where the luggage goes, where it's really hot and stuff. So
Yeah, we hear it's no condition for animals. And if we were going from city to city without a car, trying to bring Alaska, we'd probably either find someone to just pay some random person to drive us there, or use this app called Blah Blah Car, which is basically someone who's already going to one city, and they put it in this app saying, hey, I'm going to this city on this date. Okay, we're back. We still have some of you.
Rumba, internet.
Okay, I think we're back right now. Scrolling to see what other questions we have. So since we're having internet troubles and we've been here over an hour, we're going to wrap this up. So if you have any final questions, please let us know. And we're going to try to answer all these questions here. Okay, let's start with Percy. My grandpa owns a tequila tavern. What's your favorite tequila?
Herradura.
Herradura Ultra for me. Or perhaps, what's a Maestro de Bel Diamante?
Yeah, Maestro de Bel Diamante. That's been my favorite for a long time.
Laura asks, what's that rideshare app?
It's called Blah Blah Car, BLA Car. How often have you? Okay, answer that. Frozen, sorry.
They have rental cars in Mexico, not sure what it costs, but my friend has gotten one before. Are rental cars in Mexico dog friendly? I guess they probably are. Maybe you might have to pay a cleaning fee or something.
Cazadores makes us be able to understand Alaska? Well, goodness sakes, I should probably try that. I'm just sitting here like, rah, rah, rah. That's, yeah, rah, rah, rah. Rah, rah, rah.
Rental cars cheap, required insurance expensive. I've heard that. It's like $1 US a day for a rental car, and then the insurance is like $20 a day US.
Yeah. Snowman, I'm sorry, you guys.
If you have a pet and have to move, but don't have a car, maybe a good option. He's talking about rental cars, I think.
Documents that you should bring that you guys think you didn't need. The title.
The title to the car, we haven't actually needed it yet, but some people need it to get their temporary import permit.
So I have like a super high res copy of it that I haven't needed yet, but yeah, I would bring that if you have a car. But besides that, also like a good tip, which I did before, was high res photocopy all documents, so that if you get in a pinch and you need them or something, then you at least have.
But you did that in color, and I've heard quite a few times that you're not supposed to do it in color because
no,
that's
you're
considered...
not supposed to print them in color. I don't think. You cannot print documents like government documents in color because it's forgery, but photocopying, I think that's okay.
All right.
All right. I hope we got all of your guys' questions. Really sorry about the internet issues. That's kind of, I think, just like an ahi-heek thing, and we have 2 modems, so we're gonna see if we can figure out anything. We're gonna try to do these late at night from now on, because that's when less people are like streaming Netflix.
Either that or morning.
Or maybe morning.
It's good too.
So.
But if you joined us, if you didn't hear the whole thing, we did some research earlier of like the best way to do the live stream, and we had it all figured out. But then we came to do the actual live stream and went to YouTube where we're supposed to go, and there was a YouTube server error. So we had to do it on the YouTube app once again, which we did not want to do, because if you see our hand in front of the screen all the time, it's because we have to keep scrolling and looking for comments and all that, and it's a tiny screen.
But we hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. We had fun with this, and we really like interacting with you guys more personally instead of just replying via comments and stuff like that. If you haven't gotten your surprise gift yet, or your little surprise perk thing, keep an eye out. We'll be sending that very soon. And in the meantime, if you have any more questions that we didn't answer, just leave them for us on Patreon, and we'll try to get back to you
all right.
ASAP.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Hope you have a great night.